Fish Talks, the show where we explore the paths to success, financial prosperity, and personal growth. I am your host, Rickdrika Bennett, a business strategist and owner of a digital marketing agency. In this episode, I am super excited because we're going to dive into the world of marketing, social media, and SEO strategies. Our special guest for today is Dr. Jennifer Gardella, a seasoned expert in these domains with a wealth of experience to share with us on marketing. Thank you, Dr. Gardella, for being on our show today.
It is an unusual name to pronounce, but thank you for having me.
So, and we're actually thrilled to have you today. Your journey from academia. I don't know why I say it. I be butchering that word. To entrepreneurship and your extensive expertise in marketing and social media is very, very remarkable to me, and I've been really intrigued on that journey because at one point I was in a field of anthropology and organizational leadership, getting my PhD, and I shifted from there to marketing. So I would definitely like to know more about your journey from there to entrepreneurship.
Sure. So it's actually an interesting story. I was getting my PhD and started working for a friend who had a law firm in central New Jersey. So if you're in marketing, you know the world of divorce law, pretty competitive out there on the internet. Ed had $1 million law firm, and the phone stopped ringing off the hook back in 2011 because the entire system of Google's algorithm had changed.
Right.
So those static one pages were no longer acceptable to Google. You now needed to do this thing called blogging and have a digital marketing strategy, social media strategy. And I was finishing up my PhD in the last 2 years of it. He knew I would have liked a job, which was great to be bringing in some income and get some health insurance. So I learned from the best at that time. 2 years later, I graduated with my PhD and I said, hey, I have something here. I have a skill set that can help small business owners who can't afford to bring someone on to figure all this out. Mm-hmm. And so, interestingly enough, I created a website called Your Social Media Hour. It's still in existence. It's raging back, but it was a service. It was a service that taught you how to blog, set up social media, and then what to do every day. And as I started to network, because that's what you have to do when you start a business, you have to network. Someone at the back of the room raised his hand and said, I don't want to join your service and do it myself. I want you to do it for me. And I was like, why the heck would you want me to do that? It's so easy to do yourself. He said, because I'm a lawyer and I bill out at $395 an hour and I don't want to waste my time blogging. And I said, okay, come on in. So from there, and he's still a client now 10 years later. But from there, I have built a consultancy now of, small business owners, a couple of big businesses that want their social media done for them by a pro. So that's the journey.
That's an interesting journey. So let's dive into the significance of marketing in business. So marketing, of course, is a cornerstone of every successful business, as well as networking, because it's a form of networking or creating a network. So could you explain to the audience why marketing is so essential to a business owner, especially new businesses and entrepreneurs who are just trying to jumpstart things?
Yeah, that is a great question. And I also teach an entrepreneurship class at our local community college here. And all of the students are sick and tired of hearing marketing, social media. But that is where the play is at for any business. If you don't have a website that speaks to your ideal clients, And if you're not actively communicating with your ideal clients on all social media platforms, you officially in the world don't have a business, because no one is going to be able to find you or know what you do. So it is critical that you either hire to help you with these services, provide all this digital information, or you learn how to do it yourself. And if people can't find you on the internet, I mean, you're in marketing, right? If people can't find you, they have the attention span of a gnat. They'll go onto the internet, they'll start to look for your business. They might remember your name, they might remember your business's name, they might remember what you do. Who knows what piece they remember? But if your website isn't there, they'll just go looking for your goods and services somewhere else.
That's true. And then I think one of the biggest things that I run into when I have clients is that many of these clients do not have their Google business profile set up or established. So that makes it even harder for people to trust them as a business owner. But then not only that, they're not consistent with output of content that they're putting out. Like they'll post something and then it'll be 3 months later and they post something else and they be like, well, people aren't engaging me, but you're not putting out consistent content. So how can you build relationship or trust or awareness of your brand or your business? And I think that brand awareness is essential, but at the same time, knowing the keywords or the SEO that comes behind your target audience is also essential, because if you don't know how to optimize the keywords or key things that they're interested in, it's going to be hard to appeal to your target audience. So I guess my question would be, a lot of people feel like SEO is this big mystery or overcomplicate SEO. So could you help demystify um, some of these myths behind SEO and practical strategies for improving search rankings for small business owners?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing is you sit down with whatever it is you're comfortable with, a pad of paper and a pencil, or a Google Doc, or a spreadsheet program. And you start to list out the services that you offer.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next thing is you need to figure out what your ideal client wants. And sometimes those things do not add up. For instance, I help a lot of family law attorneys, divorce attorneys, and they want to talk about how great it was that they did maybe their clerkship somewhere. They think that this is impressive. They may, like they do, divorces at the local courthouse. What do ideal clients of divorce attorneys, what are they looking for? How much alimony am I going to get? How much child support am I going to get? How long is it going to take to get divorced? So
And how much it's going to cost to get divorced?
Right. Yeah, exactly. So what you have to do is you have to put your expertise through the lens of how your ideal client is searching for you.
Mm-hmm.
And so because we know that 60 to 70% of all search in Google is based on questions.
Right.
So people are going into the internet. They're going into what I call the Google machine. That's when I make fun of older people. So, they go into the Google machine and they're looking up, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
And if your website has that information written in those keywords on it, your website will rank to the top. Everyone thinks that if they type in best pizza place near me, that the best pizza place is actually going to show up. It's not. No. It's going to show up the place with the best pizza place near me written into its content, and some geolocators as well. I don't dismiss that part of it. So that's the process of search optimization. And that's the basic. Anyone, can really do that for themselves. And then, like you said, you kind of alluded to it, you can then do a whole heck of a lot of research on your keywords. There are plenty of websites that you can use for free, maybe 1 or 2 searches a day. And then there are plenty of websites that will take a lot of money that I pay for to do the keyword research the right way for my clients that come into my business.
Right.
But really, one of the best tools that you can use, if you want a really good free one, is Google search. If you go into the Google search bar and you type in whatever it is that you offer, Google will return answers to you about how people search. Google will actually, in the drop-down menu, you can see before you hit the enter button, other search terms that are related to what you're searching on. So
Right.
it's really, it can be quite an extensive process, but it also, you can use all the free tools that are available out there to do it yourself.
That's true. In marketing, when it comes to marketing, there are a lot of tools and resources available. And what I tell people is you pay for what you get. So don't expect a premium service from a free trial or from something that's free. And from all of these different platforms, because what they really want you to do is see how the platform functions, and then you basically upscale whatever service that you're getting from the platform. So, what are some marketing tools or resources that you think small business owners need to basically streamline their marketing efforts?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the first thing that any small business owner needs to realize or needs to determine for themselves is how big of a learning curve do you want to have? Because sadly, many of these services are really complicated with steep learning curves. They are
Mm,
not built for the faint of heart when it comes to even just setting up a calendar program for yourself. So the new hot one that everybody's talking about that I actually use is something called Go High Level. Now, Go High
mhm.
Level for your average independent small business owner, it can range between 97 and 297 or 313, whatever it is a month. But the
I
learning,
have it. I have that program too. So I pay $500 a month, mainly because I have the agency level
right?
of it.
Yeah, I have an agency level too. And so, but for you and I, we're agency people, we're tech heads, we'll bang our heads against the wall, we'll sit on the phone with customer service because we're building businesses around offering those services. So,
Hmm.
and what people, I do not offer this service, but what a lot of Go High Level people do is they offer the platform then to other small business owners. Now,
Hmm.
again, that's a great thing, but you're still going to have a steep learning curve. So I always recommend on top of that, there are some systems then that you can sort of cobble together for yourself, right? So
Right.
if you want Calendly is a great calendar program. And if that's all you can handle, absolutely go for it. Hootsuite is a phenomenal social media scheduler, but it's just gotten very expensive. So I don't really know what to tell you about that one. But there's
Yeah.
Planoly that can help also. Again, Go High, you can do that and Go High. You can do everything in Go High Level.
Yeah. And then
Canva,
Hootsuite has a learning curve because they keep changing stuff. So people who try to schedule stuff in Hootsuite, I have a lot of people who email me saying social media scheduling is hectic. And then I ask them what platform and they say Hootsuite, and I say no wonder.
yeah, exactly. So the best bang for your buck out there is all, in my opinion, these days is Canva.
Hmm.
Canva is it's an image creation program which now has fully integrated with so many AI bells and whistles, it's ridiculous. So you can get a lot done in a short amount of time, and you can post directly from Canva to many of the sites. So that's
Yeah.
a good one. Again, it's like $110 for the year, well worth your money and the learning curve.
Hmm.
Which again, they're making it more and more complicated because they're adding more and more features. So it's like, oh, look, we have all these
Right.
features, but it's hard to get around it now. Again, you have to be ready. But those are good ones. And then HubSpot, always a big fan of HubSpot. You can do your CRM in HubSpot. You can do your landing pages in HubSpot. You can
Hmm.
probably, use it for a whole host of other things as well. And so the trick is to find a good combination that meets your needs. Honestly, the best thing that I always tell people is work your tail off to build your business up to a point where you can spend about $2,000 to have a month to have this for you done for you, because
Hmm.
that is what it's going to cost. If you want someone managing your website, managing your email list, managing your social, and writing your blogs, you're looking to do it the right way, about $2,000 a month. And so
Yeah.
I always say, get to that point and then start complaining. Like you can't
Yeah, because
really.
I know for me, if I'm doing system operations for you in tech support, where our company charges $3,000 a month at a base price. And it depends on the number of systems that we're actually managing, because some people just start getting a whole bunch of systems, and then some of the systems actually cancel out each other. So part of
Right.
part of one of the things that I've done in the past is I evaluated what systems people had and be like, hey, you need to get rid of this because this system does both of those things. Because and then they'll try to zap it all together with Zapier, and I'm like, oh God.
My point exactly. Once you get Zapier involved, you are now creating a technology spider web that most
Mhm.
small business owners, unless they're technology experts, are not equipped to handle. I don't want anything to do with Zapier. It is way outside of my skill set. So that's where all of those, yeah, Zapier is a perfect
Yeah.
example. You can zap things all over the place. So I'm like, and I have had clients who are like, look, we're zapping things all over the place. I'm like, you're not keeping track of anything.
And that I think that's the problem, because people will sit and think they can go to YouTube, watch a video on marketing and setting up web hooks and zaps, and then they put these zaps on into their marketing plan and strategy, and it defeats the purpose from the very beginning. And I think that is one of the biggest things that people have to understand, that yeah, on YouTube there's good content for you to learn certain skills. But you're not learning the full skill. You're learning an element of it, and then you're taking that element out of context, and it's
Right.
hurting you instead of helping you. And I think that's the biggest part that many people have to learn about marketing, that marketing is always changing and there's a learning curve to the marketing side of business. And then also understanding that there is a difference between branding and marketing, but they work together, because some people confuse the brand and marketing to be the same thing, and they're entirely two different concepts. So, I guess the question I would have for you is, could you kind of explain the interplay between the two concepts of branding and marketing, and how they work together, basically to promote your business or personal brand effectively?
Yeah, absolutely. This is something that I teach. This is something that I work very hard on my clients with. So I look at branding as under the umbrella of marketing, right? But and it
Hmm.
is the very first thing that you need to take care of. Branding at a higher level is the look and feel of whatever business you're trying to create. So it includes your logo, your profile pictures, your headshots, pictures
Hmm.
of your business, again, your colors, as well as things like your tagline, your business name, your unique selling proposition. All of those things go into the initial stages of branding. You can't
Hmm.
put up a website until you have a logo and you know your colors and you have a good headshot of yourself. So that's the initial part of branding. Now, then you take all that, and your next step in the marketing plan is to actually start doing things, right? But so you can't do that until you have your branding in place. Interestingly enough, I have a huge branding problem right now, and I've just hired a branding specialist just this morning to start to help me with it, because I have the Gardella group, and we do social media posts, and we
Hmm.
help you with blog posts. On the other side of my business is I just wrote a book as a domestic violence survivor, and I'm looking to do domestic violence survivor training. How the heck do you blend those two? What if all of a sudden my brand went from social media expert, blogging expert, to those things plus domestic violence advocacy work? And I went, oh my gosh, I'm a mess. And I don't really like to be a mess. So we're in the process now of saying, what's the golden thread? And a big piece of branding is, what's the golden thread between your personal story, why you started your
Hmm.
business, what are you selling, and then how you're
Hmm.
helping your clients, and like why you did this. And for me, it got really messy right away. So I'm like, whoa, I need to step back and get different sets of eyes on to help me, fix this mess. The eyes that created it are not the ones that can solve the problem all the time.
And that is true, because I know, like, with the situation like that, I do have clients who have multiple businesses, and I have more than one company myself. So what I have done for the running thread is I know that I'm a part of each element of that each
Mhm.
brand. So for me, in my main brand, what I do personally is in my bio, I may put a link to the other aspects of me, but my main brand is my marketing. That's my bread and butter.
Sure.
So even with that profile, I'll have 70% of content that is geared towards educational aspects of marketing. And then I'll do 10% personal, something that's personal for me or something from my other brands that I'll pull in. And then I'll do 20% entertainment of what my lifestyle may look like or what kind of things are going on behind the scenes of my company. So, and that's how I kind of web them all together, because if people understand the behind the scenes of me and know that I have more than just a marketing company going on, they'll know like, okay, well, this person can relate to me on another perspective from this area of life. And I think that golden thread piece of knowing is always the focal point that you have to do in marketing, and people lose that golden thread piece and they try to pull themselves away from the brand, which creates chaos. and and then when you remove yourself from the brand, it also makes it not personable enough to reach our
Right.
audience. So yes, I definitely can understand having that issue and things like that. So I guess when it comes to SEO and marketing, are there like some actionable tips or steps that you would recommend that people should do when to market and brand their company?
Yeah. So the very first thing you need to do again is figure out what you do. Make a list of what you do, and
Hmm.
then put the right marketing pieces in place. Like I said, get a great logo, get some headshots done. You don't need to spend a ton of money on this, but you need to have it done to your satisfaction, like so that it looks like you want it to look like. And
Hmm.
then you need an editorial calendar. Like, what are you going to write when? This is also assuming, by the way, that you already have a website set up. And then on a regular basis, in some way, you need to be sharing content every week with your audiences to build your accounts. Those are the key first steps. After that, we can go and add about 100 things, right? We can add, and I highly recommend, the next step in the process would be adding in a really devout email marketing strategy. How are you collecting email addresses? What's your lead magnet sequence look like? And how are you communicating via email? With your uh, contacts? Where a lot of small business owners drop the boat is they think that putting up a Facebook page and having a happy little post up there every week is enough to build a business. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, Mark Zuckerberg owns Facebook, so he owns your traffic.
Right.
Same with Elon Musk owns your traffic on Twitter. They can take it away from you at any moment. I'm not saying they're
Hmm.
evil, but that could happen. If someone decides to take down Meta, a lot of businesses would be in big trouble. But email marketing is different because with email marketing, you own that traffic. And so you get to decide how and when people see your stuff, or at least are served your stuff. Another big problem with just having a Facebook presence is you may have 10,000 people that like your page, but only maybe 50 people are going to be shown your post.
Hmm.
Again, that's controlled by another person. And you can even see, like on LinkedIn, we're seeing this a lot on Instagram these days. Influencers that claim that they have 100,000, 25 billion followers, and they have no engagement.
Right.
It's because their stuff is not being shown to the people that follow their profiles. So there's really a big quagmire out there over the right things to do. And again, it's website followed by blog, social media, list building.
Yeah, and I think for me, I go from website to list building
Yeah.
because mainly because like I think it was last year something happened with Facebook and a lot of business owners were not able to really reach their audiences because Facebook was having trouble and it was down. And
Right.
I was like, I told all of my clients, I said, that's the prime example of why I tell you to have your email list. So even if something does happen with Facebook or any other platform, you can still reach your audience and still contact them and nurture them behind the scenes. And that has always been my key, because I'll tell them, hey, put a contact and bio link where you have all of your lead magnets there, and start building your email list for newsletters and things of that nature, because you have to own your content. And the
Right.
only way you can own your content is by having those leads in your personal basically in your personal system, other than a platform that's free. Because once we put stuff on those platforms, we no longer really own that content.
Right. That's what I said. You do not own your face. Even if you pay through advertising to get people to like your page, you do not
Mm-hmm.
own those contacts in any way. And now the one reason why I don't tell people to first, as they're starting a business, to automatically set up list building is for what we were talking about in the beginning. It's complicated. So it's easier if they get their feet wet with messaging by sharing things on Facebook and blogging, and
Mm-hmm.
then in a couple months, make sure that they get their email marketing up and running.
Yeah, I understand that it can be a little complicated to have that little learning curve, especially if you have it on automation and you're not doing it manually.
Right.
So yeah, I definitely get that. So I would say, I guess my next question would be, when it comes to putting out blogs and posting on social media, how often do you think that people need to be doing this in marketing?
So I always say that if you are starting out, you should be blogging once a week and
Hmm.
sharing on social every day.
Okay.
Usually, this makes the average small business owner start twitching or throwing up. They don't like this answer. That to them is an awful lot. So I always say make sure it's done at a cadence that you can support long term.
Hmm.
You don't want to go on Fiverr and hire a blogger and get 100 blogs written and dump them all on your website and be done with SEO for a couple of years. That's the worst case scenario.
Right.
So what I always say is once a week is ideal, but if you can only support once a month, that is a great place to start. And you should always be social in some way. What people forget is that social media isn't just about sharing your goods and services. It's not, oh, look at me, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. You can do a video, put it up on YouTube, uh, have your description with a great SEO description and share that. You can go live with video on Facebook. There are
Right.
so many different things that you can do that doesn't look like a standard social media post that stresses everybody out.
That is true. And what I have noticed, um, a lot of people spend a lot of time on what their thumbnails look like and what their covers look like. But I've noticed that most of the time, those posts or those reels that are just don't care about a cover or things like that, those are the ones that get the most engagement. So it's nice to have it branded, but it's okay to do like raw content, because those content pieces actually get a lot of engagement. So I think at this time, if you would like to kind of share like your platforms or share any final tips to the audience, I wanted to open up the floor to you to give any more details that you would like to provide for us today.
Oh, thank you so much. So the first thing is, if anyone is looking for blogging and social media support, you can find me at either thegardellagroup.com or jennifergardella.com. Both have a way for you to book a call with me so we can talk about your needs. And
Mhm.
then I am promoting my book. It's, again, the other side of what I'm doing, my branding confusion, I guess. But it's written by me, Jennifer Gardella. You can find it on Amazon, and it's called Domestic Violence Awareness. Listen for the whispers of abuse.
Well, that concludes our episode for today of Wealthish Talks, and we've gained a wealth of knowledge from Dr. Jennifer on marketing, social media, and SEO strategies. Dr. Jennifer, we thank you for sharing your expertise and insights with us on today. And we would definitely want to give you a big thank you for telling us about your remarkable journey and taking the time to provide those insights to us. And remember, listeners, to implement these things from the insights that were provided for you today in your business. And this can help you to strategize and continue your journey towards success. I'm Rick, and remember, wealth is not just about money, it's about enriching your life in many ways. Until next time, stay inspired and keep tracing your dreams.